I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you gathered with us here for our webinar, The Healthy Active Muslim. In the present era, who doesn't want to be healthy? Who does not want to be active, right? We have with us Sister Amina Khan, who has completed her BA Honours in Psychology, Neuroscience and Behavior from McMaster University in 2014. She is CANfit-PRO certified group fitness instructor, specialist in nutrition, wellness and weight loss coach. Sister Amanah's goal is to revive health awareness in the Muslim community. Without further delay, dear brothers and sisters, I present to you Sister Amina Khan.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Jazakallah khair, Sister Rohina, for the introduction. I just want to make sure everyone can hear me right. Just type yes in the chat box. Jazakallah khair. So yes, as Sister Rohina mentioned, the goal of this presentation and of our organization, which is Amanah Fitness, is to really make sure that we're reviving health education in the Muslim community. And that really is an individual effort. It starts with all of us. So it's really, really important that we all are making steps towards improving our health at all times, inshaAllah. So just before we get started, I just want to find out a little bit about you, because obviously that helps me let you know information about healthy eating and exercise that's specific to you. So I'm going to put up a poll, and if you guys could just please pop in the answer that fits you best. It's, you know, it's not going to be made public what answer you made, but this helps me get a better idea of where you are right now so we can cater the presentation to your level, inshallah. So I'm just going to start a poll, and you can go ahead and punch in your answer, inshallah. So when it comes to healthy eating, you don't really know what healthy eating means. I don't eat healthy most of the time. I try to be healthy, but I don't always succeed, or I mostly eat healthy. So I'll just give you a few seconds, inshallah. Answers are flying in, so I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to end that poll. And so we have the majority of us are saying, I try to be healthy, but not always. We have a little bit saying that I don't eat healthy most of the time right now, but you know, alhamdulillah, that's a good first step. You need to realize where you are right now in order to make improvements, right? So I'm really happy about that. And a little bit saying I mostly eat healthy, which is great, mashallah, and just a little bit saying I don't know what healthy eating means. So we're going to talk about that. We're really going to address those, inshallah. Next question is going to be when it comes to exercise, because again, of course, it's about healthy eating and exercise together. And so I'm just going to put up another poll. If you could just tell me your current exercise habits. Do you exercise regularly, sometimes, 1 to 2 times a week, or 3 or more times a week? Okay, answers are coming in. I'll just give you guys a few seconds there. And thank you for replying. All right, so I'm going to end that poll. So again, here we have the majority actually saying I don't exercise regularly, and that's really where we're going to focus this presentation on exercise. That's where the objective is, and honestly, you know, that's the case for the majority of not only just people in general, but especially for Muslims, that in my experience working with clients, especially with Muslims, that there's a lack of exercise in general. All right, last question here. Just if you could please tell me your age range. Again, this just helps me know who I'm speaking with so that I can cater the answers to you. Because health, fitness, exercise, there's so much to cover. And so the more I know about you, the better I can give you information that actually applies to you. I'll just give you a few seconds here. And this was the last poll question. All right, perfect. I'm going to end that. Jazakallah khair. All right, so why be healthy? Alhamdulillah, we know a bit about each other right now, so let's get into talking about what we're actually here to discuss. Why be healthy? And particularly as Muslims, that this is something that we're very passionate about at Amanah Fitness, is we really want to return back to this ideal of health. Because as Muslims, we really inherit a historic tradition of physical strength. Physical strength, balance, moderation, this is something that is part of our tradition. In the Prophet's example, in the early scholars' example, we really see that example. And so I just want to briefly discuss this because today's society, you really see that whenever we start talking about health and fitness, it's often linked with superficial reasons. People often say, get healthy because you'll look better. But our goal at Amanah Fitness is to emphasize that that's not the main reason. We want to get healthy because it's part of being a healthy Muslim. It's part of our faith. It's part of becoming a better worshiper, inshallah. So that's really why we start off with this foundation. And it starts off with, of course, the best example of the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ, as we know, he had amazing strength. The Prophet ﷺ, he had the strength to climb Jabal an-Nur multiple times before revelation, as we know. And this is a mountain, of course. This requires immense strength to be climbing that mountain. And so throughout the seerah, we see examples of the Prophet ﷺ's strength. A story that I love is that everyone knows that Ali radiallahu anh, he was very strong, he was very powerful, he was one of the most powerful companions. And a beautiful story is, Ali radiallahu anh was telling everyone that he was the strongest companion, no one else could match him in wrestling. So he was the wrestling champion of the companions. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him, has everyone had a chance to match you? And Ali radiallahu anh says, yes, everyone has. And the Prophet ﷺ replies, except for one person. And so Ali radiallahu anh, he asks him, who is this person that I haven't matched? I want to face him in wrestling right now. And the Prophet ﷺ tells him to go to a certain location to meet this person. So Ali radiallahu anh, he goes to the location, and a man approaches him with his face covered. And so they start wrestling, they have round one, and Ali radiallahu anh, he's thrown to the ground. And he's really surprised, so he asks, okay, let's go again, round two. And they wrestle again, and again, Ali radiallahu anh, he's taken down. And so they wrestle one last time, and once again, Ali radiallahu anh, he's defeated in the wrestling match. And so he asks, who are you, to the man in the mask? And the man uncovers his face, and it was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So beautiful story. We see that the companions, mashallah, they were very strong. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was, of course, extremely strong. And so that's that tradition of strength, physical strength in the companions and in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as well, just to briefly mention, today we have, especially amongst our Muslim sisters, this idea that exercise, health, sometimes that goes on the back burner, of course, and I completely understand we have our busy families, we have so much going on, but it's important to remember that this call to action for health and exercise and prioritizing the health of our body applies for both genders, and it's something that all of my dear sisters really have to take an interest in and really can commit to making this happen. And oftentimes we get concerns about modesty. How can you maintain your modesty when it comes to exercise? And I just want to kind of mention a brief story. We all know the story of the Prophet ﷺ when the Prophet ﷺ was racing with his beloved wife Aisha radiallahu anha. And so, there was two occasions, at least that we know that they were racing. And so I just want to mention that because this is a situation which the Prophet ﷺ and Aisha radiallahu anha, they were racing with each other. And so this shows that if you do it in the right situations, the right environments, there's no reason why sisters cannot get active. They can't run, they can't race, as long as they're maintaining their modesty and they're making sure the environment and situation is right for that. So of course, Aisha radiallahu anha, she embodied the highest level of modesty. And so of course, then there's opportunities for us as Muslim sisters to get active, and we really have to make sure we don't let our modesty prevent us from taking hold of opportunities to get active, inshallah. So just before we get into actually how to get active and how to, be healthy, I just want to talk a little bit more about the virtues and importance of health from an Islamic perspective, because I think as Muslims we really need to hear this, we really need to understand this in order to prioritize health in our life. You really need to know why something is important to be motivated to apply it in your life. So that's the goal of this, inshallah. So one hadith that I want to just mention is that it's narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said that the best generation is my generation, followed by the one after them, then the one after them. So of course the best generations were the early generations. And then there will come a people, so this is the Prophet ﷺ basically predicting that there will come a people in time who will bear witness even though they are not asked to bear witness. So this is a negative quality of the people who will come. Then they will betray trusts and they won't keep them. So again, a negative quality of betraying trusts. They will swear oaths, they will not fulfill them, and obesity will be rampant amongst them. SubhanAllah, this is such an amazing hadith because it really predicts the time that we're in so perfectly. Obesity is at an all-time high. We've never seen statistics of obesity that are like the current era. And this is, again, we have to focus on the fact that these are all negative qualities that we are told that this generation will have. So because we know that this is a negative quality, obesity is a negative quality, the Prophet ﷺ is telling us this, as Muslims, the current Muslim generation, it's our duty to try and remove this negative quality from ourselves. Just as we try to remove swearing oaths and not fulfilling, just as we try to remove lying and cheating and stealing from ourselves, we also should try and remove and distance ourselves from obesity, inshaAllah. And as Muslims, we often think that, health and fitness can sometimes seem very far. That's something you don't have to do. It's something that doesn't apply to your life. And that's partially because the way that fitness and health is often presented. It's often presented as very superficial, not applying to our immediate lives. So I just want to mention about the areas of our deen in which we are applying fitness, in which we must be fit in order to successfully perform our ibadah. So for example, in salah, it requires flexibility and dexterity of the body. So you need to have full range of motion in your body to really capably perform salah. And the best example of this, and a very unfortunate example, is when we look in our masajids and we see that the chairs are filled, rows and rows and rows. And of course, some of the people who are sitting in the chairs are, sitting for legitimate reasons and because they've gotten older and so on. But a large majority of these people are also sitting there because of obesity, because they did not use their body when they were younger. So when they reach older age, it becomes difficult. It becomes very difficult to perform the movements of salah. And this is something that I really want us to focus on. Right now, if you are able to move your body, if you're able to have that flexibility, if you're able to do salah, then that's something we have to protect. That's something we need to really be passionate about maintaining in our body. And if you are someone who has transitioned to sitting in a chair, praying in a chair, this beautiful thing about our health is that it's very flexible. It's something that changes with us. So when you use your body, you continue to be able to use it and your body gets into good health and you prolong the use of your body. But even, alhamdulillah, if you have lost some of the functions of your body, by regularly exercising, using your body, you can start to regain some of the movements that you might have lost. So I don't want to say this in a way to make anyone feel bad or feel upset, but even if you are in a stage where you don't have that same flexibility and movement, take that as a wake-up call right now. Take it as an opportunity to work on your health again and inshallah regain some of that lost movement, inshallah. Again, another aspect of ibadah fitness is fasting. So fasting requires healthy metabolism and being free from certain chronic illnesses. We know that some patients with diabetes, they are not medically able to fast. And so again, this goes back to we must prioritize our health so we can protect ourselves, so we can make sure that we're able to perform these acts of worship for as long as possible. And of course, Islam is merciful. We know that when we have conditions of our body that prevent us from doing these acts of ibadah, we are giving exceptions. But those should be exceptions. It shouldn't be the norm. It shouldn't be the case that as soon as you hit a certain age that you're not able to perform actions. No, it should be that we're preserving our health, working on our health for as long as possible, inshallah, to maintain these acts of worship. Of course, Umrah, again, that requires so much strength and endurance to complete tawaf and sa'i and all of the rites of Umrah, right? So this is, again, it's a very big aspect of this act of worship. We have to have the strength to be able to complete this act of worship. And we know that in Umrah, the males, they show their shoulder when in part of the tawaf. And so, the point of that is to have strength and muscle and tone in the right in your shoulder. That was initially when we were doing that, is to show that the men have that strength. So, I mean, that shows that there should be some muscle and tone when you reveal your right shoulder, just as a side note. And of course, Hajj, it requires immense strength and fortitude to fulfill those rites of Hajj. We know it's an extremely taxing act of worship in terms of our strength. So we really need to work on that strength, because we see that in all of the acts of worship, there is a strong physical component. And so we have to protect our bodies, inshallah, to be able to maintain the ability to do them. And again, as we mentioned before, prophetic fitness, I just want to mention some wisdom of our scholars who also, they emphasize good health. So the scholar Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, the prophetic guidance is most complete and comprehensive. And here he's giving a reason why he feels it is the most complete and comprehensive. Because it includes developing good health in one's physical body and spiritual heart. So it comprises of wellness in this life and the next. So this is beautiful. We really see that the prophetic guidance includes developing health in physical body and spiritual heart. So we really need to make sure that we're not neglecting this aspect of your physical body. That's really important, and we all have to ask ourselves constantly, am I neglecting either one of these, my physical body or my spiritual body? Both are important. Both are very, very important to do with the right intentions to work on both of these areas. We know that the famous Imam Shafi said, I have not filled myself in 16 years. SubhanAllah, not filling ourselves in someone for 16 years. Yet nowadays we fill ourselves every single meal, double filling ourselves. So I have not filled myself in 16 years, because filling oneself makes the body heavy, removes clear understanding, induces sleep, and makes one weak for worshipping Allah. SubhanAllah. That's amazing. We see here that physical health is directly being linked to our spiritual health. We're told that filling ourselves, just eating, bloating ourselves, makes your body heavy. It makes you weak for worshipping Allah. So how then, as Muslims, when we're trying to increase our khushu and our salah, how then do we keep filling ourselves, overeating? This is part of working on our spiritual health, is working on our physical health, inshaAllah. Again, the scholar Ibn Rajab said, spiritual benefits for eating in moderation include humbleness of the heart, strength of understanding, curbing one's desires, and lessening of personal opinions and anger. So if you have eating in moderation, you get all of those benefits. And what's more, overeating induces the opposite of all of the above. Again, we see this strong emphasis of physical health and spiritual health. They're linked. When you eat in moderation, it's easy to be, it's linked to be humble and to have understanding, curbing your desires. So we see here there's so much benefit in eating in moderation, and there's so much risk and danger in overeating. So these are just some quotes that I want us to keep in mind, because we really have to keep this in mind, that Islam promotes a healthy body. Islam promotes eating in moderation, and that's something that I really want to bring back to our understanding, inshallah. So again, we have this carryover effect. Spiritual health, physical health. They're linked. They're not separate. If you neglect one, it will by its nature cause a decrease in the other. And I'll tell you why. A healthy person, a person with strong physical health, they do everything more capably because their body can. When you have a strong body, you are able to reach higher heights in your spirituality. You're able to do more in your worship, stand longer in prayer, do more fasting, go for Umrah more frequently. You're able to do this, inshallah, when you have that physical health. So we have to be aware of this carryover effect, and we have to work on it as we hope to improve our spirituality, inshallah. So I just want to bring that, we've discussed the scholars of the past, we've discussed that example. Let's talk about the modern slump today. We have, of course, obesity rates in the modern world, all-time high. We have, especially in North America, it's very high, and everyone usually says that, oh, North Americans, they're the ones with obesity. Canadians, I mean, and Americans, they have high levels of obesity. But that's not actually just the whole story. Unfortunately, Muslim countries prevail in obesity statistics. It's so sad. We know that 70% of women in the Gulf states are obese. The countries with highest obesity rankings in women are Muslim countries. Isn't that sad? It's not the US that's the highest in terms of their obesity statistics. It's Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, all-time obesity statistics high. And the United States is 8th on this list. So, subhanAllah, we really always, kind of think in our minds that, it's a problem for someone else to deal with. It's someone else's worse. But unfortunately, in this situation, we really have to take ownership of the fact, excuse me, that Muslim countries are unfortunately currently really prevailing in obesity statistics. So that's something that we need to be aware of to work on, inshaAllah. And it's very understandable, I'm not blaming anyone for this. We live in an area of laziness, convenience. We have McDonald's everywhere around the globe. If you look on Facebook, McDonald's has like 58 million followers. It's really, we're in an area where people go for convenience, laziness, quick food, all of these things. This is the era we live in. So now, particularly as Muslims, we have to find new ways to challenge our bodies. We have to be additionally motivated to eat healthy. We have to understand that our spirituality is linked with our physical health, so we can avoid falling into this slump, so we can, one person at a time, start fixing this statistic, inshallah. And alhamdulillah, our ummah can take on this challenge. We really believe that, which is why at Amanah Fitness we promote and we really try and bring back this health education. We know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So it's our duty, it's the duty on all of us, every single person, to seriously consider our health, to seriously work on our health, to examine ourselves and decide that I'm going to change. I'm going to fix myself. If I'm not where I know I can be in terms of my health, if I'm not where I know I can be in terms of healthy eating and exercise, I have to change. I have to start with myself, and that's a carryover effect, inshallah. It starts with you, you change yourself, then you change your families change their friends, and that's how it spreads, inshallah. So as Muslims, we really need to strive for ihsan. We really need to strive for that ihsan as well in our bodies, so we understand that our bodies have a right over us. We know that the Prophet ﷺ said, verily your body has a right over you. We have to take that seriously. It's a serious thing that unfortunately has become lost and forgotten somewhat in our Muslim community. We have to take this back, restore our legacy of physical and mental and spiritual health, inshaAllah. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Creating an exercise program that fits you and your lifestyle. So how is everyone doing right now? I think that that's a little bit of a different perspective on healthy eating that I wanted to share with you, inshallah. And so hopefully, inshallah, you feel a new and improved motivation for healthy eating, inshallah. So just to take a teeny tiny break before we kind of go in further, just to give you guys a little bit of a mental break. I just wanted to share this with you. I have a little bit of a free gift for you. It's a free ebook called Getting Back on Track, the Missing First Step in Your Healthy Lifestyle. So if you go to amanahfitness.com, the link is right there on the screen, and there's a little link you can see on our homepage. You click there, you enter your email, and you can download this free ebook. In this free ebook, I share how to get started in terms of creating your healthy lifestyle, in terms of making goals that fit for helping you get back on track. And I also share my own personal weight loss journey, of 60 pounds, alhamdulillah, 5 years ago. And so I share that experience, and I also share some tips on how to get started the right way. So again, that link is just right there. If you would like that, to check that out, inshallah. And again, you just have to click that red box. Again, also, inshallah, if you want to follow us in terms of our updates, we always have our healthy eating updates and exercise recommendations and guidelines on our Facebook page. So I'd really appreciate it, if you could head over there and like us on Facebook, inshallah, to stay updated in terms of what we're doing and our new programs, our healthy eating and exercise programs. You can just check us out, inshallah, on Facebook and keep up with us. And you can see more information about our various programs and our healthy eating programs, which I'll talk more about a little bit later. So, inshallah, let's keep moving. What is health? So the way that I've structured this presentation is, we talked about in terms of the Islamic perspective, why we really as Muslims should be extra motivated to really work on our health, to emphasize our physical health. And so now I really want to transition into how we do that. How do we do that? How do we work on our health? How do we emphasize our health? How do we make that a real, practical part of our lifestyle? So we're going to get into this. This is kind of the second part of this presentation, inshallah. And again, if you have any questions, save them. We're going to do a Q&A at the end. So just keep your questions with you, inshallah. I'll be happy to answer them as we go along. I know that this topic, as we go along, you might have some questions. So just keep them with you, inshallah. So what is health? Health comprises of multiple spheres. Health is a very all-inclusive concept. So we have our physical health. It's how you're feeling, it's your bodily health, how you feel on a day-to-day basis in terms of physically, your body. We also, of course, we have our emotional health. And so this is still health, right? It's a little bit of a different perspective on health. It's how, are we emotionally satisfied and fueled? So this is our emotional health. We have our mental health again. This is just as important, a very strong aspect of health. We have our social health. And of course, we have our spiritual health. As Muslims, how are we doing spiritually? And of course, as Muslims, we understand that in Islam, all of these are linked, and they all serve to draw us closer to our spiritual health optimum level, right? So when your physical health, emotional health, social health, and mental health is aligned, you can really tap into and reach forward and really do your best in terms of optimizing your spiritual health. So that's, kind of a overarching big picture of why all of these aspects of health, these domains of health as we call them, they work together. Health, again, it's a dynamic process that changes across life. So at some point, you might have a really strong physical body, but you might be depressed. Your mental health could be suffering. Or you could have very high emotional health and social health, be always surrounded by friends and family, but your physical health could be suffering. You could be suffering with obesity, or the other way around. You could be suffering from extremely low body weight. So it's a dynamic process that changes. So beyond health, we want to talk about wellness. So wellness is the search for enhancing our quality of life. It's personal growth, reaching our full potential in all of these domains. And we get there by positive behaviors and attitudes in every single domain. So for example, in mental health, social health, you take steps to improve your health in these areas. Same thing with physical health. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, as well in our spiritual health, we can take steps, positive steps in our behaviors and attitudes to improve wellness in these areas. And as Muslims, really, that boils down to reaching ihsan in all areas of our lives. And that's the great thing, that as Muslims we understand that we should always strive for ihsan. Whenever we do something, we should do it as best as we can, and our bodies are no exception. We really must prioritize our bodies, work on our bodies, and that counts in all areas of our health. So today we are going to be focusing on physical health, of course, so that one domain of physical health. And as I'm sure all of you are familiar with, we see that when we understand that physical health is comprised of nutrition and fitness or exercise. These are the two main components that will really drive into your physical health. Of course, there's other aspects. There's your medical health and things that you'll discuss with your doctor, but these are two that we commonly discuss when we're talking about your physical health. And today we're really going to zone in on that exercise. And again, at Amanah Fitness, our goal is to really cater to all aspects of physical health. So you can, when you can see us on Facebook and our website, you can see that we have many different programs that cater to both of these aspects, inshallah. So we're talking about fitness. That's what I'm going to focus in on for the rest of this presentation. Fitness is made of multiple components. We have some primary components: body composition, cardio capacity, muscular capacity, flexibility. We've probably all heard these words, right? We all kind of have some familiarity. We've heard the word cardio, strength, training, body composition. So those are the primary components. That's what we call it. These really the most important foundational elements of establishing fitness. Then we've also heard some other words, right? We've heard agility, speed, balance. So these are what we call secondary components. So the reason why I mention this is that when you're starting implementing health, implementing exercise in your life, You don't start with the secondary components. You start with the primary components. You focus on the primary. And once you do that, naturally those secondary components, you develop them. Those start to happen, but they can happen without establishing those primary components first. So we're going to really focus in on those primary components of fitness, inshallah. So this boils down to our first kind of aspect, our first big question that we're going to be looking at. What is exercise? Understanding different types of exercise, and especially how they apply to you. And my goal always in all of our programs is to be very, very practical. So inshallah, you'll find this full of practical takeaways. We're going to start off with a little bit of theory, I guess you could say, just so that we understand where we have to come at our health at, but it's really going to tie in and become practical at the end, inshallah. So stay with me. So we mentioned there's primary components of fitness, and when I say fitness, I just want you to think of having a fit, strong, capable body. So in order to have that fit, strong, capable body, these are the components. These are the 4 areas that we have to work on. They have to be solid in order to have that strong body. And so I'm just going to go through and explain them, and then again we're going to get really practical after. So the first thing is our body composition. So that's in your body. How much fat do you have to fat-free mass? So that's, for example, how much fat do you have compared to your bones, heart, tissue, organs, all of the stuff that we need in our bodies. How much is that compared to your fat mass? So we all need a certain level of fat, and that's definitely there. But unfortunately, when we see obesity, that's a large percentage enhanced, huge proportion of fat mass in relation to your fat-free mass. So we have too much fat. That's that problem. So we have to look at this proportion, right? We want the right amount of things that are not fat, your organs, your tissues, everything else, to fat. So we really want to get that proportion right in our bodies. And once you have that right proportion, so once you reach your ideal body weight, once you reach your ideal amount of body fat, you have decreased risk of cardiovascular and heart diseases. So that's really, really important. We have increased metabolism and improved BMI. So what that just means is that once you get to a stable body weight, it becomes easier to stay at that right body weight. So some of you might have experience with dieting, trying to lose weight, trying to get into an ideal body weight. Even if you're underweight, again, that's still a issue of a proportion issue, because then you have too little fat compared to the rest of your body. So once we improve that, once we get right where we should be, what happens is your metabolism improves, so you're able to really stay at that level more easily, because, for example, someone who is overweight, once they get to their ideal body weight, they'll have an improved metabolism. They'll be able to burn more fuel, stay at that body weight easier. So that's a little bit of hope for those who have tried to lose weight. It gets easier. Once you get there, it's easier to stay there. Next, we're going to talk about cardiorespiratory capacity. And again, I promise I'm going to make all of this really practical in a little bit. So your cardio capacity, we often hear the word cardio. I'm sure you've heard that before. It's the body's ability to respirate, circulate, utilize oxygen. So it's how well are you able to use the oxygen around you. So when it comes down to it, it really has to do with our endurance and our strength and our power when it comes to our cardio capacity. So this is really, we're working on our heart. So this is, when you optimize this, you decrease your resting heart rate. So what happens is that when you improve your heart, when you strengthen your heart has to beat less to circulate that blood. So you're saving beats, you can think of that. And so you decrease your resting heart rate, and that prolongs the life of your heart, inshallah. You also, again, decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease, decrease the risk of heart disease. So that's a recurring trend you'll see. When you improve your fitness, when you improve your health, you decrease the risk of cardiovascular and heart diseases. And again, you improve your cardiac output, so basically your heart becomes stronger. So that's in terms of cardio. And again, I'm going to discuss what is cardio practically, but right now I just want you to understand the benefits of improving your cardio. And we have some guidelines. How often do we need to do this? How often do we need to be training our heart? So we have a guideline. It's 4 to 7 days per week. But more specifically, and this is the guideline that I think will be really helpful because you can aim for this, the minimum that you need to be doing is 150 minutes of moderate intensity, so lower intensity, or 75 minutes of high intensity. That's the minimum. And to really get into the best shape, inshallah, we want to aim for 300 minutes of moderate intensity or 150 minutes of high intensity. But I'm going to stick with the lower end right now because I just want to help everyone, inshallah, get into that healthy range, those bare minimums. And I know that that sounds like a lot, right? 150 minutes, but really that's just half an hour, 5 days a week. And so again, we're going to talk about exactly how to do that. And my brothers and sisters, I know that everyone has such a busy lifestyle, but of course, when you prioritize something, when you realize that strengthening your body is part of strengthening your spirituality, I think we can all spare some time for that, inshallah. So next component, we're almost through, is muscular strength. So strengthening your body. Strengthening your body, your muscles, is different than strengthening your heart and your cardio. So strengthening your muscles is really the key. And this is the thing I see, especially with my female clients in the Muslim community. Most of our sisters, they tend to neglect their muscular strength. And this is a problem. We really need to maintain our muscular strength. And I want you to kind of erase any preconceptions you might have in your mind of what it means to be strong. Because really what this is having the muscles and the strength to be able to do daily activities, climb the stairs, walk up hills, stand in salah. This requires strength in your leg muscles, your feet, your whole body really. And so this requires strength. So we really need to make sure that we're maintaining our strength. You know, so many of our sisters that and brothers as well later on in life, they are unable to lift items. They can't lift cans, they can't lift boxes because they've lost their strength. Right? That often happens in old age. But you don't lose your strength just like that. It doesn't just happen one day. You wake up and all your strength is gone. It's a degenerative process. So that means that if you don't use your strength, if you're not using your muscles, you're not training your muscles, if you're not using them and strengthening them, they slowly dwindle away. And that's why we see so many brothers and sisters in old age, they've lost that strength. And the good thing is that you can always start regaining it. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you can always reverse that. You can always start working on that. You can always improve. You can always start strengthening. Regain some of that ability that you might have lost. That's what I want to focus on. So when you improve your muscular capacity, you increase the strength to make daily activities easier. That's what it's all about. It's not about something superficial. It's about making daily activities easier. Make your salah easier. If your whole body didn't hurt when you were going into sajda, it would be easier. It would be easier to pray more. And of course, it improves your joint strength. You decrease your risk of injury. So, you know, again, in older age, we see a lot of people that they fall off the stairs, that they are more likely to get injured. Stronger bodies are less likely to get injured. You can really help yourself a lot there by strengthening your muscles. And it improves your posture as well. All benefits of improving your strength. And again, I'm going to talk exactly how we can do that. And in terms of our guidelines, we want to do this 2 to 4 times a week. So I want you to keep that time I gave you, 150 minutes per week, in mind. And then you want to, within that time zone, you want to do 2 to 4 times a week of this muscular strengthening. And finally, flexibility. This is the range of motion that your joint is capable of. So if you think of someone who's not flexible, if they try to touch their toes, they would probably not even be able to touch their knees. If they bent over trying to touch their toes, they wouldn't be able to get all the way down, right? And that would mean that their hamstrings, that the back of their legs are very, very tight and unflexible. Now, somebody who is very flexible, they get the full range of motion. They can touch their toes. They can have very soft, pliable muscles. And this is the thing about flexibility. Your muscle, you know, in terms of its range of motion, when it's flexible, it's less likely to be injured. A flexible muscle is a strong muscle. And so by improving your flexibility, you're decreasing the risk of injury again. And you're improving your posture and your range of motion. So again, that's really, really important to work on. And a lot of people neglect flexibility, or the only thing they focus on is flexibility. So it really has to all come together, these 3 components. And in terms of guidelines, again, you want to be doing 4 or even 7 times a week. You can never stretch enough. Most people hardly stretch at all. And this is just really gentle reaching, bending, stretching, to keep your joints mobile and your muscles relaxed. And you know, if you wake up early in the morning, you want to yawn and you just kind of stretch your arms over your head, you know how good that feels? That's the benefit of stretching. That's how you can make your whole body feel like that with regular stretching. So those were the components of exercise. And I'm going to, discuss them again now from a practical perspective. So the theory's over. You can all sigh, take a deep sigh of relief. So I want to transition into talk about how to practical is really the key, how to practically add activity into your life no matter what your age or fitness level. That's what it's all about. Again, it's not about, only working for certain peoples. It's about no matter who you are, you can always work on your health, inshallah. And as well, we're going to discuss how to exercise at home. Again, that goes back to what we were discussing earlier. Many people feel concerned how they're going to maintain their modesty. Exercise at home, and you will be just fine, inshallah. So, again, we said that time limit, 150 minutes per week. So what that boils down to, 30 minutes a day, 5 times per week, minimum. Now, you can split that up differently, of course, if you want to do an hour one day, if you want to do less one day, whatever. But I'm just going to, give you this guideline, 30 minutes a day, 5 times per week, because I think that's very, very manageable. And if you're thinking, that's crazy, I don't even have 2 minutes for myself, I just want you to kind of look at your schedule again. Just flip open your schedule, your planner, have a look. And, if you're really, really super busy and you feel that you don't have at all any time, just one day, I want you to write down all the things that you do in the day. And then by the end of it, you can just pick and choose a few minutes here and there, and you'll realize, oh, I was not doing anything here, I could add that here, I could add that there, and I could create a little 30-minute time block for me to make that exercise. That's just in terms of scheduling it in for yourself. If you think it's important, you'll do it. I know all of our brothers and sisters, the things we think is important, we do it. So this 30 minutes, 5 times a week, I really encourage you to block that in, make it happen. So in terms of what you do in those 30 minutes a week, we talked about this, right? We need our cardio, we need strength, we need flexibility. These are the 3 things we need. So making it really simple. Cardio, strength, flexibility. Cardio, strength, flexibility. Say to yourself over and over, this is what we need to make sure our 30 minutes, 5 times a week include. So in terms of cardio, what does cardio actually look like when we're doing it? These are all examples, ideas. So when you're doing cardio, a good kind of rule of thumb and thing you can think of is cardio leaves you breathless. It's the activities like running or walking. And it doesn't just have to be running or walking, jumping jacks, skipping rope, hopping on one foot, biking, hiking, all of these things. And even speedy housework, these can sometimes leave you breathless, especially if you have a very dirty house. So vacuuming, mopping, sweeping. These are all examples of cardio, and you can increase the amount of cardio. But for example, if you're mopping slowly, not very much cardio. If you're racing around the house with your mop, that's going to be more cardio. So although that seems funny, again, I just want to give you some ideas here that this is possibilities you can use for cardio. And of course, biking, that could use some equipment. But running, walking, you don't need equipment for that. Jumping jacks, everybody loves jumping jacks. You could do those. Those don't need any equipment at all. Skipping rope. Skipping rope is a great activity, and I think too many of us only do that when we're kids. But that's a very, very good activity. If you do jump rope for 5 minutes, you will be tired, I promise you. So these are all ideas that you can include, and you can use them to get your cardio. This is so simple, a lot of people make fitness something very complicated. Oh, I need a gym membership. Oh, I need this. I need a trainer. I need this and that. No, you don't. You just need to know how. You need somebody to teach you how you can do it. And so, inshallah, I hope to be able to teach you how to do that. So simple ways to get your cardio up. And again, this is the thing. Like many good things in life, the more you put in, the more you get out. So you can, you could very slowly walk, or you can walk at a brisk pace. You can walk speedy. You can walk quickly, right? And then you're going to get more benefit out of that walking. So an easy way, I tell people that, okay, even if you don't have that 30-minute 5 times a week, if you can't do that yet for whatever reason, there's so many opportunities in our life to get our cardio in. You can get off the bus 1 stop earlier and walk the rest of the way very quickly. So that's a way to get cardio in like 3 minutes. Of course, it's not as much as I would really like you, ideally, to have, but it can help. You know, it's part of it, and it's additive. So the more you do, the better it is for your body. And so we always want to be trying to get more movement in the day. You know, whenever you're on the phone, sisters, if you get a phone call from your mom, from your friend, and you know it's going to be like a 3-hour phone call or like an hour or even 20 minutes, just walk while you're on the phone. You know, you don't have to sit while you're on the phone. You can walk. Just walk around your whole house. We call it house walking. If you're doing that fast, you know, you can get those steps up. You can really make that part of your cardio. So again, I really want to focus on not making it complicated, making it simple, walking more. When you're brushing your teeth, even if you march with high knees, if you just march in place, again, that's cardio. And, you know, if you do that more often, that's taking an opportunity in your life that was otherwise sedentary, like brushing your teeth, on the phone, and you're turning it into something that's a little bit active. So that's a good thing, right? So definitely, you know, try and input some movement in your day. Strength. So cardio leaves you breathless. Strength leaves you sore. And so here, you know, a lot of people, again, they're like, oh, I need so much equipment, but you don't have to. There's a lot of moves that can be done with just your body weight. For example, you could do push-ups, or for those who cannot do push-ups yet, because everyone can do a push-up, they just don't know it yet, you can do planks or lunges or squats. So those are actual exercises. Those are real exercises that, you know, that we teach, and there's a specific way to do them. But even if you don't know how to do those, you can do walking up hills or stairs. That is resistance. That's strength, because if you've ever walked up a really long flight of stairs, you get sore. It happens. So, you know, that walking up the stairs or walking up hills, that's one way to get a little bit of resistance in. As you know, you just want to put it into your daily lifestyle. If you have exercise machines, of course, you can. A lot of people just think that, for example, a treadmill or an elliptical, those are only for cardio. You only run on them. But actually, you can use them for strength too. So, for example, if you turn them up on very high resistance, then it's like walking up a hill. So, for example, a treadmill, you could run on it on low resistance, or you can turn the resistance all the way up and you can walk on an incline. That's going to make you sore. That's going to give strength back to your legs. So important. You want to maintain your legs. You want to be walking, inshallah, for as long as you can in your life. You know, get that strength in there. Walk on high resistance. Walk on high incline. Same thing with a bike. Instead of just pedaling fast, you can make the resistance very, very hard. So you're pushing to turn those pedals. That's strength. That's really great strength. Of course, then when it comes to strength, it's all about, you know, adding a bit of resistance to your body, and so asking your muscles to do more than they usually do. So, for example, a lot of people, you know, will use dumbbells, will use weights, will use things to do weighted exercises, but you don't need to. If you use some soup cans, especially some of the soup cans I know that we cook with, they're very heavy, right? So you can use those heavy soup cans. You can use heavy textbooks. Just lift. Lift things. Lifting is the key to keeping that tension in your muscles. So keeping strength in your muscles. So lifting. We want to be lifting. We want to be moving. We want to be moving on incline, having that strength. Very, very important. So that's strength. We got our cardio. We got our strength. Flexibility. So flexibility, it leaves you rejuvenated. It relaxes sore muscles. And again, these three, they work together and complement. So I'm sure that many of us are familiar with some stretching. So again, you know, when you wake up and you stretch, big stretch up to the ceiling, that's an example of flexibility of stretching. Another example is, you know, if you reach down to your toes, you usually, many of us, we can't stretch all the way down, and that's an issue of flexibility. Because our hamstrings, which are the muscles on the back of our legs, the back of our thighs, that muscle is for many people very, very tight. So by doing that, you want to hold that stretch, you're going to increase the flexibility. Remember, we talked about all those benefits earlier. So, and just a note here about flexibility, you have to hold all your stretches for more than 20 seconds to really allow the muscle to relax. A lot of times they see people, they're holding it, so they stretch for like 3 milliseconds, so they're like, okay, I'm done with stretch. No, you have to hold the stretch for a long time. That's how you relax your muscle. So, you know, there's various running stretches. You can, if you're standing up and you reach down with one hand to grab your foot, and you pull your foot backwards to your body, then you're getting a quad stretch. There's side stretches, so many stretches that you can include, and really going to keep your muscles flexible, inshallah. So, let's make it practical. How does it apply to you? But here's a little idea for a beginner's 30-minute exercise routine. Remember we said that we want to get that 30 minutes in 5 times a week. So in terms of a way you could structure your 30 minutes, like what you're doing in those 30 minutes, this is how I might split it up. So I would start off maybe with, for beginner clients, I would start off with like a 3-minute warm-up, and that, you know, it's cardio. So it's light cardio. So here we said it could be any of these things. It could be lightly walking, lightly running. You go based on your own strength. So you could, you know, some light cardio to warm your body up. The goal is to warm up our muscles and prepare ourselves for some exercise. You could do some jumping jacks, skipping rope. Any of this is a great warm-up. Don't make it complicated. I mean, really the best warm-up is just jumping around in the spot, waving your arms, whatever you're able to do. You can even do this sitting, by the way. You can, you know, sit in a chair, kick your feet up, move your arms, circle your arms. That's a great warm-up too. So 3 minutes warm-up, don't need very long time. Then you're going to get into your cardio. So I'm going to say, you know, 15 minutes of cardio. So here we increase the intensity of the cardio to kind of as much as we can handle. So you're going to go at whatever pace you can. Again, this is a 30-minute routine, so you have to make it count. You have to work at it. So, you know, for example, if we go back again, any of these items would be good options, but you want to do them at a bit of a higher intensity than your warm-up. So you could go for a long walk you could go for a short walk for your warm-up, and then go for a little bit of a run for your actual cardio portion. Or, you know, if you can't run, if it hurts your knees, just walk. Doesn't matter. I don't mind what level of intensity you're going at, but I want you to work at a way that challenges yourself. So here is a really great time where you have to say, what am I physically capable of doing right now? And be honest with yourself. And so start off small. If you don't walk right now, if you're not walking for 15 minutes a day, you need to be walking. So then for you, this little 15 minutes here, that would be walking. So that's 15 minutes of cardio, whatever your level is. And again, this presentation, you'll be able to get the recording. So you can go back, you can check out this list, you can see whatever you want to apply for you, inshallah. Then we're going to transition into strengthening. So I'm going to say, again, like, of course, you can do more, but this is just an example of breaking down that 30 minutes routine. So strength is something that's going to leave you sore. So say you're just doing a very simple at-home workout, then I would go over to your stairs, and I would walk up them. I would walk up those stairs, and then I would run back down the stairs. Walk up the stairs, run back down the stairs. You do that for 8 minutes, you'll be tired. So, you know, that's 8 minutes that I want you to be strengthening. So you could do stairs, again, all of these ideas. You could do, you could hold plank for those who know how. You can do push-ups if you're able to. You could take a heavy soup can and you could lift it, any of those things. So those are all options that you have. Just do something that strengthens you. And again, you know if it's strengthening if it leaves you sore. So those stairs, you know, again, over and over again with the stairs, the hills. If you have a treadmill that you don't use, because most people have treadmills and they don't use them. So if you have that treadmill, just turn up the resistance, increase the incline, and walk up for that 8 minutes. So this is, you know, again, that's what that 8-minute strengthening would look like. And then finally, you got your 4 minutes cool down stretches. So basically, you want to stretch whatever area you worked. So say, for example, that you were running and you did this whole thing on the treadmill or something. So then you would have, your legs would need that stretching. So then you could reach down to your toes. You know, you could pull one leg up behind you, get a quad stretch. You could do all those leg type stretching. And so that, you know, that would be a really great opportunity to do your 4 minutes of cool down stretches. So this is kind of that basic breakdown. And so you have your cardio first, and then you have your strength, and then you're getting your flexibility. Very nice, complete workout right here. And again, I'm going to make this practical. I'm going to give you some examples. Here's an example using the same methodology we just talked about with a no equipment type of thing. So whenever I teach fitness classes to sisters, this is kind of the style that I do. I make sure that we don't use equipment when we're doing like a fitness class, because then everyone can join in, right? You don't have to worry about using equipment, knowing how to use equipment. So this is a really great idea that, you know, anyone could do. You could do it today. You could do it right after you finish if you wanted to take those 30 minutes. So this is an example. 3 minutes, you could be jogging or jumping jacks. This is probably a little bit higher intensity, so I'll also tell you how to lower it. To lower the intensity, you could do 3 minutes of walking slowly on the spot while swinging your arms, like making arm circles. That would work. Then 15 minutes, you could do any variety of activities. You could jump rope, you could march in place with your knees up high, you could run in place with your knees up high, so there's a low intensity marching and high intensity is running. You could do a burpee, which is a great move, which is where you jump up and then you jump down to the floor, you put your legs out back and you jump back up again. And again, you can look up all these moves online. It's very easy to find them and to understand how to do them. It's really just the willingness to make it happen. So you can do anything, anything that makes your heart rate up. Really, you can, if you have a closet, if all you have is a closet to work out in, you can just stand in the closet and run in the spot. You can march in spot. So really, there's no reason that this can't happen. Then for the 8 minutes of strength, so we got there our cardio. Then your 8 minutes of strength, you could, if you can do a push-up, you can do that. You can hold a plank, which is where you just, you go down to the floor and you have your hands underneath your shoulders and your body is stretched out like a plank. Very, very good movement. And then you have, again, your 4 minutes of your cool down, depending on whatever you did. So that's an example of a beginner's exercise routine with no equipment. Again, if you have any questions at the Q&A, I can take any of these questions. I know it's sometimes a little bit difficult to visualize this when we're just kind of talking on a webinar like this, but feel free to ask me your questions. Here's an example. This should not say no equipment. Let's just say treadmill or other equipment. So this is an example. Say that you have a treadmill at home. So this is how an example of the same routine, the same breakdown, but it's with a treadmill. So just ignore where it says no equipment. So here, for example, 30 minutes. So I'd start off with 3 minutes jogging, but if you don't want to jog, you can just walk. So 3 minutes walking on your treadmill. So this is cool because this whole 30 minutes is all done on your treadmill, but we're allowing you to get all the components in. So then 15 minutes, you would have your low incline at the fastest speed you can handle. So for some people, that's going to be a walk. For some people, that's going to be a slow jog. Some people, that's going to be running. Some people, that's going to be a sprint. Whatever you can do for 15 minutes, I want you to go for those 15 minutes. You're getting in that cardio. I want you to feel breathless. I want you to sweat. I want you to really challenge yourself. Don't go too much beyond what your body can handle right now, but try it out and, always ask, can I do a little bit more? Can I do a little bit more? And, often we know the answer ourselves. And then, again, there's that 8 minutes. We're going to do the strength. So I'm going to turn my treadmill up high incline, and I'm going to walk as if I'm walking up a hill. So easy to do. It's same piece of equipment that many of us have, but we're using it for strength here. And then 4 minutes cool down stretches. You can turn off this treadmill and just do your stretches right on top of the treadmill belt. You can, again, reach for your toes, pull your heels back, anything like that. So this is a good opportunity, to feel free to look up some easy stretches, easy leg stretches. Those are all readily available online. I just want to kind of give you a structure. Here's another example. Again, ignore where it says no equipment. This is one with a bike. So this would be, again, you could start off with marching in place just to get a nice little warm-up, light cardio. Then you're going to go in for your 15 minutes of biking, at a high speed or as fast as you can go. And bikes, by the way, are great for people who are worried about their knees because it's much easier on your joints. So if you are worried about your knees, sitting on a bike, like a real bike outside or like a stationary bike at home, both of those are good options. So you're going to bike at a low resistance, fast speed to get your cardio in, 15 minutes. Then you're going to give me 8 minutes where you turn the bike onto the highest resistance possible, and you're really going to push, push, push. That's strength. That's going to leave you sore. That's getting that tension, that strength inside your leg muscles. So very good thing to do always. 4 minutes cool down stretches again. So you get your strength, you get your flexibility, and you get your cardio. So again, that's a really nice sequence that has all the elements we need in the right proportions. So that's something great there. So again, I'm just going to go back. This is that routine. This is the same routine. You see how I gave you a couple different examples, but this is a really, really good way that I would encourage you to just start. Just give me 30 minutes. Even if you're not doing it 5 times a week, give me once a week. Start with once a week, then go to twice a week. So that's, a really great way that you can make sure that you're getting in that activity and you know what to do. And again, you can see the examples of what goes into each category right here. Very simple, I think everyone really knows what they could do. You could definitely walk around your house. You don't need to, go for a run if you can't, but you just have to have that willingness to do something. That's what it's all about. So again, you will have access to this recording, and you can check it out later, inshallah, for if you didn't write it down or you want to refer back to it at any time. And if you want to ask me specific questions in the Q&A in terms of certain equipment that you have, or certain moves, or certain limitations, or if you don't want to be doing hard exercise, you can definitely ask me. One last thing I want to say is an example of this whole thing that can be done seated in a chair. So I just want to give you that example as well. Here's one that I could say that you could do in a chair. Great for people who are not yet able to stand for that long. So if you sit on your chair, you're just going to give me those 30 minutes. So you're going to start off, kind of circling your arms and kicking your feet up. So if you're sitting on a chair, you can move your feet, right? So if you kick them up all the way up, you can kick your feet up one at a time, so that's starting to get some motion in your lower body for your warm-up. Then for your 15 minutes of cardio, again, you can sit on your chair. You can march if you're seated. So you can sit on the chair and then move your knees up towards your chest as if you're walking, but you're still seated, right? So that's a march, a chair march. So you can march with your chair. So, and at that point, you're going to be holding onto the sides of the chair and keeping your chest upright, and just marching, so bringing your knees up and down as if you're walking. You can do kicks on the chair, so you can, again, sit on the chair. You can kick with your legs. You can punch with your arms. You can do a lot even while seated on that chair, and all of that can count as your cardio if you do it at that faster pace. So do a couple of those, and then in terms of your strengthening, so same thing applies, but we're going to do it slower. So this time you're going to kick, and you're really going to squeeze your muscles when you're doing that kick at the top of the kick. So you're going to really push up with your feet. You can, flex your toes, so you extend onto your toes on the floor and put them back down. You can put out your arms all the way out in front of you, and you can circle them slowly. That's actually going to, start taxing your deltoid muscles in your shoulders. All of those are examples that you can do in your chair. And then for your flexibility, you can, do some arm stretches while seated on your chair. So those are all examples of how it would look like to do the same thing completely on a chair. So that's some examples of simple routines. Again, feel free to ask me any questions in Q&A. Just to wrap this up, in terms of the presentation before we transition into the Q&A, common exercising mistakes. So common mistakes is all one, none of the other. I'll see a lot of sisters in particular that they do all cardio and they don't really include any strength. And that's the problem. So I have one client, and she frequently goes on the elliptical. She's always on her elliptical machine. That's the machine that has 2 treads, and it's like you're stepping on stairs. So she's always on the elliptical. She sometimes does really long, like an hour on the elliptical. And, she's always wondering why nothing's happening for her. And then I asked her once, try and do a plank. So she did the plank, which is, it's just, again, it's a body weight movement where your arms are under your shoulders and you're in a plank position. Your whole body is straight and you're kind of holding yourself up off the floor. It takes a lot of core work, shoulder work, everything like that. So this sister, she always is on the elliptical. She went into the plank. She couldn't hold it for 3 seconds. The plank just failed because she had no core strength, no arm strength, no strength of the rest of her body. That's the problem. So this is someone who's actually doing so much cardio, but it's not really affecting her. It's not helping her. It's not keeping her strong. So I really want to make sure that we're including all of those aspects, that strength, cardio, and flexibility. And so now this sister, she's doing planks, and like 20 seconds of planks exhausts her more than an hour of elliptical ever will, because she's gotten good at elliptical. Now she needs to encourage her body to strengthen itself. So that's one big mistake I see. Also, incomplete exercising routine. Similar thing, that your exercise routine, it over focuses on one thing and you don't really do the other. So, for example, another client that she would be doing a lot of treadmill or cardio, and then she would hop off, and then it would be time for strength. So she'd kind of pick up like a soup can and then just use it for like 2 minutes, and then she'd put them down. So that's not enough, right? You need to really use a proper breakdown. Use that guideline that I gave you for that 30-minute beginner circuit. That would be a good solid routine. So again, you want to make sure that you have all of these elements, these 3 elements, they have to work together. So that's really important. Other common mistakes, again, it goes back to food. eating too much, exercising too little. And I know that we've really focused on exercise in this webinar because I think that that's something that we don't talk nearly enough about. But really, you can't separate the two. Exercise and food, nutrition and fitness goes together. You can't have one without the other. So a lot of the times when, kind of people are trying to lose weight, get into an ideal body weight, trying to get healthier, they're going to exercise a little bit. They'll exercise for their half an hour, and then they'll keep eating at the same level they always were. And it doesn't work like that. You have to be eating in the right amount of food for your body. That's really important. And the problem is that most people don't know what is the right amount of food for their body. The other thing that happens is that you underestimate how much you burned in your workout. So many times, whenever we participate in races or anything like that, you'll see there's like a short run, like a 20-minute run. And then after the run, there's like this big spread of granola bars and a lot of food, right? And the thing is that you'll see some runners, they'll go and they'll grab like 6 granola bars. So they ran for 20 minutes, and then they're going to eat 6 granola bars that are like 200 calories each. So they ate way more than what they just burned on the run. So that's the thing. It's a lot of people, they get really hungry after they work out, and but then they overeat. They eat more than they even burned on the workout. So that's something, again, we have to focus on making sure that we're eating the right amount of food for our body. Immediately after your exercise, a good idea is to have a banana, like a glass of milk, a banana, some dates, any kinds of fruits would be a good option after you exercise, but you don't need to go overboard, especially that 30-minute circuit. It's, again, you don't want to overestimate how much you actually burned in that 30 minutes. 30 minutes, it's not, there's a limit to how much you can burn in that 30 minutes. Common mistakes right there. And again, really big thing, I want to kind of wrap up here, tie in terms of where exercise comes in with your diet. A lot of people, they're like, okay, I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to start exercising, and I'll think about the food later. You can't do that. Because the fact of the matter is, as much as I love to talk about exercise, when it comes down to it, your overall health is really 80% your food, 20% exercise. We're eating we eat 3 times a day minimum. Most of us eat snacks and everything beyond that. So that's the main thing that's going to determine your health, what you're putting in your body. Is it junk food? Is it fast food? Is it healthy food? Is it natural food? These are the big questions. And even, if it is healthy food, how much is the healthy food? It goes back to knowing how much is right for your body. This is really, really, really key. So we have to learn how much is right for our bodies. And you must have a plan to eat healthy, or all of your efforts in exercise are wasted. That's the thing. You don't really want to eat so much junk, because then that 30 minutes, yes, it can help strengthen your body, but it's not going to make a big impact overall because you're eating terribly. So they go hand in hand. So my dear brothers and sisters, we really have to make that commitment to look at our diet, examine our diet. What are you eating right now, and are you serious about making it a change? So you have to have a plan for healthy eating. You have to have something that you can use to teach you and help you, make that transition to healthy eating, and it doesn't have to be complicated. So I just want to let you know of one of our programs which can really help you with that, which is called the 7-Day Jumpstart. And so I really thought this was a great opportunity to tell you about this, because this is our signature healthy eating weight loss program. And so, I really wanted to share that with all of you. This is a program in which it starts off with 7 days. So it's very, very simple. It's a 7-day program in which I tell you exactly how to eat in the right amount for your body. And the thing is, a lot of people, they make healthy eating very complicated. So they'll measure calories, they'll use tools, they'll have to measure everything you eat. And, it's not practical, and I'm all about being practical. And so in the 7-Day Jumpstart, I teach you how to eat the right amount of food by using your hand as a measurement guide. And that's the real key, because then when you're outside, you can look at your hand and you can see, oh, how much should I be eating? So I teach you how to use your hand to measure different foods and the different quantities. So that's really, really important. And that 7-Day Jumpstart, it's a digital book, and so it teaches you all of that. And you can find here this link, amanah7.com. And it includes the digital guidebook, which teaches you teaches you the skill of healthy eating, because it really is a skill. And it also includes printable tracking pages so you can track your progress and make sure that you're eating the right amounts of all the food groups. So this is a really, again, it's a foundational program. And so on this program, you'll see that I teach you 4 rules to follow every single day. So with these 4 rules, I think a lot of people, and what I've seen with my clients is that they spend their efforts in the wrong areas. So you have to make sure that you're doing the right things every day to make a big impact on your health. So with the 7-Day Jumpstart, you're following 4 rules, just 4 rules every day to make sure that you're always making improvements on your health. And that's really, really key. Those 4 rules that I teach you, always follow them. This will keep you on the right path in terms of healthy eating forever, inshallah. You'll also learn my law of portions. Again, you use your hands. You learn how to judge whether you're eating the right amount based on your body, based on you. So that's the key. It's not like a program that is only going to give you one measurement, because you use your own body to make the measurement. I also include a sample meal plan. I teach you how to build your own meal plan, and really, how to avoid a sedentary lifestyle, how to include healthy eating into your lifestyle. So that's all in that program. So this is our program. You can get it at Amanah7.com. And just as a thank you for, kind of spending this time with me, and taking time out of your busy schedule, this is just as a little thanks. You can use the coupon code, all in caps, IOU webinar, for 20% off of this entire program. So that one, I want to make sure that it's just for those who were on this webinar and really, spending this time together. So that coupon code is going to expire right after this webinar. So if you are interested in this program, you can check that out. You can use this coupon code IOU webinar. You just have to click here, and that will take you to Amanah7.com. And so that's our program. And just kind of, alhamdulillah, this program, we've had amazing success with it. And I'm really, really proud of what we've done with it in terms of the success. In just 1 week, we've had sisters who have lost 4 pounds. And again, this is not about the 1 week. It's about keeping this up. After you do the 7-Day Jumpstart, you repeat the cycle. It's such a simple program that you can really do this program for the rest of your life and you won't even notice, because it becomes a natural lifestyle. It becomes a natural way of eating. I'm all about changing our daily habits. So, Fatima, she went through the Jumpstart. She lost 4 pounds just in that 1 week, and she's keeping up the Jumpstart now. So she's keeping doing that, and that's what I'm really proud of her for. Nosheen, she went through the program, and she really felt that, including healthy eating, she felt that increase in energy. And that's so key, because once you start eating healthy, you have an increase in energy. You're able to use that energy really to power your workout. So, you can see the rest of the testimonials on our Amanah7.com page. And of course, I really want to make sure that you feel comfortable with that. At Amanah Fitness, we stand behind all of our programs. So if you're not happy with the program, of course, you can just get a refund. So that's Amanah7.com, and if you would like that, you can use the coupon code IOU webinar for 20% off this entire healthy eating system. So that's that program right there. You can check that out, inshallah. And now I think we're going to transition into questions. You can let me know if you have any questions about what we discussed in terms of exercise, how it fits you. You can also let me know if you have any questions about the 7-Day Jumpstart program, anything like that. And yeah, so Jazakallah khair, thank you so much for your attention. I'll be happy to open the floor for questions, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, sister, for the wonderful session packed with so many practical tips. I'm sure the people present had a very, very good time listening to you. Now, before we move ahead to the question and answer session, I would like to introduce the IOU campaign. As you are all aware that the Islamic Online University aims to provide a high standard of education that is accessible to all students across the world, irrespective of their financial difficulties that may be facing. We believe that students could not be prohibited by financial restrictions to study the religion of Allah. In order to achieve this, we have launched a campaign to raise funds for the IOU. These funds will primarily be used to sponsor students who cannot afford to pay the registration fees. Further, it will also help to cover the running costs of the IOU. As we are currently offering free diploma courses to over 20 2 lakh students from 227 countries globally. Alhamdulillah. Hence, we request you to be a part of this noble cause and donate to our campaign so that we can continue to offer quality education to the Ummah. You can contribute any amount, it could be small or big. Remember, each and every donation that is made does count. Now we move on to the question and answer session. We will be opening the chat for some time and will take questions in the order they come in, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Rohina. So yes, I can take any questions that you might have about your own exercise, your own hoping to include exercise in your life. Feel free to ask anything, inshallah.
So we have a question from Tasneem. I do crunches to get a flat tummy. How many do I have to do per day after 30 minutes brisk walking on treadmill?
Right. So, Sister Tasneem, thank you so much for your question. So when it comes to crunches, actually, I'm not a fan of crunches. Really, now, crunches are becoming a little bit of an outdated exercise because when doing crunches, most people do that while putting a lot of strain on their neck. So when pulling up, they're grabbing onto their head and yanking their head forward. So it's really a very focused abdominal exercise. But when it comes to, as you said, getting a flat tummy, really to have that strength in your midsection, you want to work your entire core. And your core includes your abs, your obliques, your back. It really includes the whole center of your body. So to really, really optimize and really get the best amount that you can for that midsection, you want to be doing planks. Planks are the best exercise you could do. So again, a plank, you can do it on your hands or you can do it on just your forearms. That's where you're going to be straightening your whole body, lifting your body into the air, and you're going to be pushing yourself up. Again, either supported on your hands or on your forearms. Your hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders. The plank is the much, much, much better exercise than crunches. So I would actually rather, Tasneem, that you scrap the crunches and start doing a plank. See how long you can hold a plank. You can start holding it and see if you can increase the time you can hold it. So the longer you can hold it, the more that's challenging your core. And with your core, it's all about stability. So stabilizing your body challenges your core, your whole midsection. That's going to be much more effective after your in terms of challenging your core. In terms of how much you actually have to do today. So this is the thing. A lot of people, they want a specific number. How many do I have to do? How much should I do? And that's natural, right? Because you want a goal. But when it comes to our bodies are all about progression. They want to be challenged, and a specific number doesn't matter to the body, right? Like, what would your body know between 29 and 30 crunches? So we really want to see how much you can do right now and work to increase that every single day, right? So if you can hold a 20-second plank right now, I'd like you to increase that to 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds, and keep increasing that. And you will find that as long as you keep challenging yourself, you're always pushing your limits, that's a better guide of how much to do instead of how many specific number. So I want you to aim for that 30 minutes, but then also work on always challenging your strength. So hopefully that answered your question.
Okay. We have another question from Ibrahim. I used to be very active and fit for the past 4 years. I have been suffering from chronic migraines and I struggle to motivate myself to do any exercise because I am so tired and sore from them. But I also know that my lack of exercise is definitely not helping my condition. But I have these great intentions.
Right, so Jazakallah khair, Brother Ibrahim. So of course, in terms of the migraines, that's something you should check with your doctor, make sure you're able to be active, and of course that entire issue I would discuss with your doctor and make sure that that's something that you're able to do in terms of what you're trying to do in terms of activity. Just in terms of what you mentioned in your question, so you mentioned motivation. Motivation goes down because you get so sore and tired. So this is a thing, right? So motivation is linked with your success. So if you go and you do a workout that's so intense that on day one that you beat yourself up, the next day you can't even move, then obviously you're not really going to be motivated because you associate exercise and activity with pain. So that's a common mistake I see with clients as well all the time. They're like, all right, I'm ready to get active. They do some exercise way beyond their limits. The next day they're bedridden, and then they wonder why they're not motivated. So what I would recommend, is really to, obviously, of course, after you check with your doctor, make sure that he's happy with the kind of activity you're doing, is get back to it slowly. Again, you don't need to jump all off the cliff at first. You got to start slowly. You got to start in a way that your body can be comfortable with. And that's why when I gave those examples, I really wanted to give examples that can work for any activity level. If you need to start in a chair, that's fine. If you need to start walking, that's fine. You don't have to sprint. You don't have to be start off at max level 10. Start off slow, so you're going to be a little bit sore the next day, but not so much that it's painful. So when you start off slow, you can ease yourself into it, so your body grows with you. Yeah, I really have to respect your body and allow your body to catch up with your great intentions, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair for your answer, sister. I hope that answers the question. Our next question is from Humayun, who
Right.
is how is exercising with full stomach?
Right, I do not recommend that at all. So actually, several times in my fitness classes with the sisters, we'll be doing an exercise, and I always mention, don't eat too much before you exercise. You want to have a light stomach when you exercise. And some sisters, they don't listen, and then they'll leave, and then they'll throw up because again, you don't want to be exercising with a full stomach. Even in terms of drinking water. In terms of your guidelines, you could 15 minutes, you could have half a cup, but 15 minutes before your exercise, and keep yourself well hydrated before the exercise. But when it goes into the exercise, you don't want to be going and exercising with sloshing around in your stomach, right? So that goes for food and water. So make sure that your stomach feels light. If someone pushes on your stomach, you shouldn't feel bloated, oh, don't push, because you're going to be pushing your body, right? So it's not fair to your body to be exercising with a full stomach. A great opportunity to exercise is, with a very light snack in the morning, like say you have a banana, then just you keep your stomach light, then you exercise. You could also exercise, even just with drinking some water before breakfast. If you have enough energy, you're not going to feel like a sugar crash or a lack of energy in the morning. So check with your doctor in terms of if you have any specific concerns, but I mean, definitely do not want to be exercising with a full stomach. Keep it light inside.
Jazakallah khair, sister. We have a next question from Oslim. What do you think about HIIT?
Right, Jazakallah khair for the question. So HIIT, this is high intensity interval training. So this is a great way of training. And so obviously there's many, many, many different ways to train. There's Tabata, there's HIIT, there's all of these formulas. And so HIIT is one way of training. So earlier we discussed how to train in terms of a 30-minute routine. So HIIT is another way in terms of within that 30 minutes, you're really going to be pushing your limits because you do a short interval of the hardest exercise you can do possible, then you take a little break. And then you do hard again, hard, and then take a break. So it's fluctuating between intervals. So for example, you could do a minute of maximum power. So you're sprinting for a minute and then slow walking for a recovery, 10 seconds. Then sprint for a minute, slow walking 10 seconds. So HIIT workouts, this interval training, is the best, most effective exercise you can do. Studies have shown that HIIT exercises burns way more calories, and when you're doing interval training, actually after you finish your exercise, you're still going to be burning calories. You get what we call EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. So you're going to be still burning calories after you finish your workout. HIIT workouts are amazing. I didn't discuss them too much because I have an idea that we have a lot of beginners on the call, so I wanted to kind of make it a bit more easy and not worry too much about other stuff. But yes, HIIT workouts, if you know what they are, they're amazing. I really encourage them. You can do them on the treadmill, again with sprinting versus walking. You can do them just with body weight in terms of going really hard, burpees, push-ups, and then taking a short break, 10 seconds, and then kind of just use that. So HIIT is definitely amazing.
Jazakallah khair, sister. I hope everybody is able to implement it. Our next question is from attendee Benazir. She says, I'm very thin, so I don't want to lose weight, but really wanted to lose my fat tummy and strengthen my bones and muscles.
Right. So yeah, I mean, when we mentioned all the way back when I was talking about, I won't go all the way back, when I was mentioning that part of your overall fitness is your body composition. So that's going to be, whether that's too much fat or too little fat. So, we have that a lot, a lot of clients who are underweight, but we have what's called skinny fat syndrome. So somebody is low in their body fat, but they have, like a high proportion of body fat. So they're not strong. They still have a lot of body fat, even though their overall weight is low. So in terms of, so you mentioned that you want to lose, Ari, like you're actually asking about spot reduction. So unfortunately, you can't lose fat in only certain areas. So you can't say, okay, I wish my arms were a bit thinner, but I don't need anywhere else. So that's not how it works, really. You can't spot reduce and just target one area or another. But what you can do is you can strengthen. So, if you're very thin, what I would recommend is doing less cardio, more strengthening exercises. So more of this resistance type of exercise. And then if you make sure that you have your healthy eating, I would recommend, probably eating more calorie-dense foods, including some nuts in your diet, healthy fats. So those are going to make sure that you're, although you're exercising, you're going to be burning calories in your exercise because you're strengthening your body in the exercise. Then you just have to make sure that you're eating enough of those calorie-dense foods like nuts and healthy fats to make sure you're not losing additional weight. So, again, though, once you strengthen, it changes the appearance of your body. So in terms of, say you did a lot of planks, you would be strengthening the appearance of your whole midsection, and so then you wouldn't have to, you would actually stop feeling that you need to lose your fat tummy because the appearance of your stomach would change. You would strengthen it, and then, of course, making sure that you're not losing additional weight in terms of eating. Hope that answers that.
Jazakallah khair, sister. I hope, and thank you for the wonderful insight. Our next question is from Leela. What to do if I have no energy to exercise?
Right, Jazakallah khair. So again, this is like a question that you have to get at the root of the problem. Why do you have no energy? So if you have no energy because of a medical condition that's not allowing you to have energy, that's something you need to discuss with your doctor if there's something that your doctor can help you with in terms of increasing your energy. But a lot of people, they don't have energy because they're just tired from a long day of work. And then they come back after a long day of work and they're like, yeah, right, I'm going to exercise. Of course not, right? So in that case, I would recommend really just, it's a scheduling game. So when you have high energy, usually people are pretty energetic in the morning. Why not try and put in, even if you can't get in 30 minutes, just get in 20 minutes every morning, right? So that's, like 20 minutes, 7 days a week is like almost the 150 minutes per week. So that's something, you can do. Pick a time of day in which you're most energetic and just get the exercise in there. A lot of people, they say, oh, I never have any energy. So a lot of that, it's just about motivation, right? So it comes down to, I never have any energy at all. I never have any motivation. So that's, first of all, going to be realizing what kind of style of energy do you have? Are you someone who wants to, just are you really low energy all the time, of course, and trying to plan around your energy levels, but also just give yourself 5 minutes. If you can't motivate yourself for 30 minutes, okay, start with 5. Start with something that's so easy that you don't need energy to do it, right? Like you can motivate yourself to just move for 5 minutes. So start with 5 minutes. It has to start somewhere. So many clients, they never take that first step. That first step is the hardest step. And once you take that first step, you realize that, hey, actually movement makes me feel better. Movement makes me feel stress relief. Movement makes my bones feel lighter. Movement makes me feel like I can take on the rest of the day. So once you do that, you're actually, you actually increase your energy when you get in some exercise. So I would really say that, obviously after checking with your doctor, just try very, very small. Just say, okay, I have no energy, but I can put a timer on for 5 minutes and I can push myself for just 5 minutes and just see how it feels. Make it a habit. Make it consistent.
Jazakallah khair, sister. I hope we are able to take that first step.
Inshallah.
Our next question is by Shima. Do you have any CD to work out at home?
So right now what we're doing is we're actually, inshallah, going to be shortly releasing a lifestyle show, and so you can you can subscribe to our Facebook for that, and so that's going to show a lot of different combinations and routines and options in terms of how to do simple exercises at home, like planking and such like that. So we're going to be releasing that in the next 2 weeks, inshallah. So if you subscribe and like us on Facebook, then basically you will see the updates for that, inshallah, and that lifestyle show is going to be completely free.
Jazakallah khair, sister. The next question that we have is by Sister Hafsa. I have back pain from some days, so can you tell me some exercise to get rid of it?
Right. So when it comes to back pain and specific pains that you have, again, that's something that you have to check with your doctor because it depends like from why you have that back pain, where that originated from, what exercises are safe for you to have. Because I mean, your back pain may be different from someone else's back pain, so I can't give any specific advice for that because obviously it has to be specific for you and your condition, which your doctor is the best person to kind of examine and give you an idea. But just kind of even as a guideline, you can get back pain even from improper exercise. So one of the best things in terms of exercise to prevent back pain is going to be doing things with proper form. So not rounding your back when you should be, kind of keeping a strong core. So, again, like I'm sorry I can't be more specific with here, but again, I don't know the reason for your specific back pain. So I wouldn't be able to give any exact guidelines.
Jazakallah khair, sister. I hope that answers the question. The next question we have is by Ravida. What can I do with my autistic daughter who is very overweight and is not flexible at all?
Right. So inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow all of us to, benefit the health of our family and, inshallah, move towards healthier families, inshallah, and make dua for your daughter. So when it comes to kids who are overweight, and so in terms of just the issue of flexibility, again, it starts off very small. Flexibility is something that develops. So most adults are very, very inflexible as well. It's not something that's specific to your daughter. So it's just, starting with simple stretches. If you notice in my routine, I put stretching at the end, and that's for a reason, because at the end, your body is a bit warm, right? So your body is warm from the whole routine, so your flexibility is most effective at the end. So you really want to hold those long stretches. So, that's a really good opportunity to stretch. And so I would just recommend, starting small and working with your daughter, not just asking her to do it herself, but doing it with your daughter, spending that 30 minutes 5 times a week. Add an exercise routine into your life. Add a similar routine like this that includes both exercise, cardio and strength, and flexibility. Because the cardio and strength is really going to help with the weight loss, inshallah, and then the flexibility is going to help in terms of, working on her flexibility, and all of that comes as a package. And again, of course, with kids, it's easy to just say you can do this, but it comes down to, doing something with your daughter that the both of you enjoy. So I know that many of my clients, I get this question so often, my son or my daughter is overweight, what do I do? And they don't like any sports, by the way. So I would say that, it comes down to finding something that works for your child. What does your child enjoy? Again, if it's not treadmill, then don't make it a treadmill. Go outside, have a walk in the park, and be incorporating these elements inside your outside time together. And if you make it fun, if you make it a time for you to spend time with your daughter, you can, and both of you are working on this together, then inshallah, naturally, that can be something you both look forward to. So again, the issues is overweight, lack of flexibility. It just comes down to implementing this 30-minute exercise routine that we talked about in your everyday life 5 times a week, inshallah. And it's slow, but it works. This definitely works. This is how you fix those issues, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, sister.
Sorry,
the next question.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention, of course, though, with your daughter's specific medical condition, I would definitely, of course, check with your doctor before you're implementing anything into your daughter's routine or your routine. Make sure that whatever exercise and activity you have planned for both of you, that both is checked out and good to go with your doctor, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, sister. Now the next question that we have is from Sister Zainab. Should I exercise normally even when I'm having my periods?
Yes, you can. Of course, and if you are someone with excess pain, you again should check with your doctor for that. But I mean, it actually can help when you're on that time to be exercising. So just as long as your doctor is fine with that, there's no reason why you can't exercise. So feel free to exercise 365 days of the year.
Jazakallah khair, sister. The next question that we have is from Chuki says, Assalamu alaikum. The last time I did some vigorous exercise was last Friday. I felt dizzy afterwards, so I think I'm not fit and healthy. What could I do?
Right. Okay, so Jazakallah for the question. So again, you have to identify why you felt dizzy. And again, that's something that I would definitely check with your doctor, of course. But again, that there's common reasons that I've seen with my clients. Sometimes in terms of dizziness, maybe the client was they didn't eat anything before, so they were really lightheaded, and then they exercised, then they felt dizzy, right? So that's one reason. So you could, see when you're exercising in the day and how did your meals contribute to that. So, again, a really, kind of thing that you could do is earlier in the day you could have a banana, you could have some some natural fruit sugars, natural fruit, not real sugar, natural fruit sugars, just to make sure you're getting in a little bit of carbohydrates in there so that you're ready and you have some that you have some energy for the workout. So a common issue I see is a lack of proper nutrition around your exercise. So there's that. Another thing is that after you do your exercise, so for example, when say that you were running, you did a lot heavy running, you did a high intensity workout, you have a lot of blood pumping in your body. A lot of my students, right after their workout, they sit down or they lie down and they go from standing, right? So if you picture your head standing, your head is very highly elevated, then they drop down immediately and they'll start stretching down close to the ground or lie down. So what happens there is that sudden change in elevation makes you dizzy. That's actually, something that happens a lot. The people, they get dizzy. So in my classes, after the workouts, I always tell people, walk around. Let your heart rate come down to normal. When you're walking around, keep your head up. Don't drop your head below your heart. So that's key. Do not drop your head below your heart when your blood is still pumping, when you're still breathless. So that's something else that could potentially be contributing to the dizziness. Sudden changes in elevation can sometimes make you feel dizzy. They can start making you feeling kind of nauseous. So there's that. And again, like if there's a specific issue while you're feeling dizzy, you could check with your doctor, but these are some common issues that I usually see that contribute to dizziness. So hopefully that answered the question, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. So the next question that we have is Sister Andrea says, Assalamu alaikum, how many of the workout clothes are tight or short? So many of the workout clothes are tight or short. Any websites recommended for modest clothing?
Yes, definitely. Great question. So in a lot of our fitness and other episodes that I always get asked, what should we wear when we're working out? So one of our favorite partners who makes amazing workout clothes is a sister from New York. I put in the link, jismfitness.com, so you can check out their store. I think they're running low on stock right now, but they should be restocking soon in future. But they have great workout clothes, really nice and modest and loose. There's like long shirts, loose pants, and kind of feel free to, again, that's one of the reasons why I always promote working out at home. You can wear whatever you want, even in terms of outside long shirts, as long as they're breathable, those are great. And then this website as well. Inshallah, that'll be helpful.
Jazakallah khair, sister. That's a common problem that we all face. Moving on, we have a question by Aisha. Assalamu alaikum. I want to know or get the exact link to the Jumpstart program and what you consider best post-workout.
Right. So for the Jumpstart program, it's right here. It's amanah7.com. So yes, sorry, I should have included that. It's right here. So yeah, it's amanah7.com, and there's the code, and so that's all there. You can get that at amanah7.com. In terms of best post-workout, so I'm assuming you're meaning best post-workout nutrition. So in terms of best thing to snack on, so right after your workout, your body wants carbs and protein. So we usually say in a ratio of 3-to-1, but I mean, that's really technical. Don't worry about it. I would just say you want to get in some quick carbs and protein. So a great option is a banana with a scoop of all natural, no sugar added peanut butter. That gets you your carbs in the banana, and that gives you that protein in the peanut butter. So that's one example. Any other kind of fruit paired with some protein would be good. So that's really, really good. Again, you want to get in at that point quick acting fruit fruit sugars, so that's going to go and replenish your muscles, especially if you're doing a very intense workout. That's going to be helpful. You can blend it up in a shake, of course, with the banana, peanut butter, some almond milk. That makes for a great shake. So it's just something that has that quick acting carbs and protein is what you want to get right after your workout, and then a little bit after, you can have like your full meal or anything like that. But like for the rest of the day, we often say we want to have great healthy fats like nuts, coconut oil, healthy fish fats, but right after your workout, you want to get those carbs and proteins in.
Jazakallah khair, sister. That sounds delicious as well. The next question we have is by Dania. Having a small pre-workout snack and then a meal after, would that work? Like have a snack, workout, then have your breakfast?
Yes, that would work great, Sister Danya. That's what I do usually. So again, you could have your small pre-workout snack. You could do like half a banana or a small piece of fruit. And then just in terms of your meal after, again, I would make sure that there's carbs and protein in that. So you could do, and you want those to be like a little bit quicker acting. So yeah, you could have your full meal. If it was a really, really intense workout, I might recommend just having like a date to start off the meal to, just get that in there, get in that quick acting carbs, and then you can go have your full meal. That's actually the best time to eat though, just as a side, because right after your workout, your body is craving calories to replenish what you just burnt it out with, right? So that's the best time to eat. You're going to be storing less of the calories from that meal as fat. So of the whole day, that post-workout meal is going to be the meal you benefit best from, because most of that's going to go, well, a lot of it's going to go into replenishing your muscles, and less of that will be stored as fat. So I like that idea, Sister Dania. You can definitely do that.
Last question that we will be taking for the day, and it is a question by Salim Jafar. He says is there a way to reverse diabetics?
So again, that's something that you want to speak with your doctor in terms of your personal care. But just again, healthy eating and exercise, there is so much that can do. I think that there was a documentary recently, something called Reversing Diabetes in 30 Days or something. So I haven't actually seen it, but it was kind of about a doctor, I believe, who was using healthy exercise and nutrition to help their diabetes patients. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to say anything about reversing diabetes, but I mean, basically, you really want to, no matter what your condition, no matter what your current state is, you really want to make sure that exercise and nutrition, solid nutrition, are part of your lifestyle. In all of our programs, including the Jumpstart, we really emphasize eating whole, natural, unprocessed foods. So that's going to help you no matter what situation you're in, inshallah. And so, I'd really just encourage everyone to implement that in their lives.
Barakallahu feek, Sister Amina. May Allah bless you for your work, and may Allah bless you for your work and help you in your goal of raising awareness of a healthy lifestyle among the Ummah. I thank all our attendees for taking out time to be with us here. We hope to have many more such sessions in the future. Last but not the least, please join us in our next webinar, Back to Basics with Tajweed Made Easy by Sheikh Wafa on 10th October. Do register now to book your spot. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.